Guys, welcome to Junior Makers. My name is Kim. I am a community learning specialist at JuSpace, and we are for Junior Makers. Every month we have a different project that we do basically every week, and this week we are making really fun light up circuit bugs. So this is what I'm going to be showing that you're making today. These really cute little circuit bugs that have glowing eyes, and mine is like a really funny looking fly. But yeah, we are going to learn how to make a circuit and go from there. And so my first question for you is, and I'm gonna do something really quickly. Sorry about that. So like I said, we are making glowing circuit bugs, and I basically was inspired by a blog that I found called by Steam Powered Family, and so this is the link to the website that you can find kind of another step for this, and then lots of other really great Steam based projects. And so that is where I got my inspiration from. And so, like I said, this is a different version of one I have made, but this is basically what we are going to be making today. And like I said, we are going to be making a circuit. So my first question for you is, what is a circuit? And if you don't know, that's okay. When I first started working here, I had to relearn, what is a circuit? How do those work again? And basically, a circuit is a path in which electricity flows. So anything that is powered by electricity needs a circuit to be powered. And so, and I actually have a really great little video that I am going to show you that is an awesome video, and it really, I think in a great way, simply but yet effectively, concisely tells you what a circuit is and how they work. So I'm going to play this and have you watch it just a few minutes long, and then we will get to our activity. And let me know if you cannot hear it. You should be able to, but you never know with technical difficulties. We'll see.
Even if you don't totally understand what electricity is, you are probably very familiar with it and use it throughout your day. When you turn on lights in your room, when you wake up in the morning, when you use your electric toothbrush to brush your teeth, when you use your toaster to toast your bagels for breakfast. And of course, you used it when you turned on your computer and brought up this video. Exactly what electricity is can be kind of an abstract concept, but for now I want you to think of it as tiny particles that we call electrons. But how do these electrons make all of these different appliances work? It turns out that on their own, the electrons don't do much. But when they move, their movement generates energy, and that can power all of these different things. To talk about how this works, we are going to use a really simple example that I have drawn out here. And this is a very simple version of a flashlight or a torch. So here we have a light, and this light is attached by two wires to a battery. And when all of these things are connected in a loop, we say that we have an electric circuit. In this case, a very simple one. Electrons can flow through this loop, which we call an electric current. And as this happens, it can turn up lights, move motors, and heat things up. But no matter what job it's doing, we can always think of a circuit as a path through which electricity flows. There are a few things that I want to point out about this circuit. First, I want us to look at the battery. And the battery provides the power that causes the electricity to move around the circuit. And this battery, in fact all batteries, have a positive end and a negative end. And electrons are pushed out from the negative end and move towards the positive end. And the wires provide the path that the electrons can move through. Another thing you need to know about this circuit is that it only works if it is closed. If there is a break anywhere in the circuit, like if a wire was broken or not connected to the battery, the circuit wouldn't be complete and the light would no longer light up. And we could make this circuit a little bit more complicated by adding things like other lights. But we could also add things like switches. Switches are components that purposefully break the circuit, but then they allow you to open and close it as needed. So think about a light switch. When the switch is down, the circuit is broken and the light is off. But when you turn the switch on, it completes the circuit, it closes it, and this allows the light to turn on.
Yeah, so I just think that's a really great video, just that really nicely describes the different parts and how a circuit, different parts of a circuit, especially a simple circuit that we're going to be making today, and how they work. So, and basically everything she mentioned, we are going to be doing today, other than really the switch, but we are going to be working with the three initial things that she talked about in this video. A battery, if we're going to be using a battery, we need some wires, and we have a light or a torch, and that's what we're going to be doing to make our circuit. So I'm just going to kind of break some of the things down for you as we go through our material list. I should be able to, nope, I don't want to play.
Even if you don't totally.
Sorry about that. There we go. Okay, so like I said, we are going to be needing those three basic things: a battery, some wires, and a light, along with some other things to make our circuit. And so the first thing that is really important is you are going to need a battery, and it's going to look just like this. So you can see it on our my picture right here. It is a coin cell battery, and the specific kind is a CR232. That is a 3-volt. And so you can buy these at like any grocery store basically, or, you know, I think maybe, I don't know, usually that, you know, those, they have those ink caps with batteries. You can usually find those there. But like our video said, every battery has a positive end and a negative end. And a lot of times you're probably used to seeing batteries that are like the cylindrical ones that you put in, you know, maybe your TV controller, your toys. This looks a little bit different, right? This is thin and coin-like, hence the coin cell name. And instead of having a positive end and a negative end, it has a positive side and a negative side. And so if you were to look closely, so I'm going to kind of, you should be able to see a little, I'm going to try and get it without a glare, a little positive side on one side, a little plus side, and that's how you know that's your positive. And then your other side is just, the other end is your negative. And every battery has this, whether it's a battery that goes in your remote control or a battery that goes in your car. There is a positive and a negative side. So yeah, so you are going to need that. You are going to also need some little LED lights. So we have some, like, look, I have some little LED lights right here. And the thing is with LED lights is that they also are polarized. They both also have like a positive and negativity to them. So, but instead of being a side, there is a LED lights have these little legs, right? We have these little legs, and you can tell which leg is positive and which leg is negative by the length of it. So you should be able to tell that this side is a little bit longer than this side. So if I kind of squeeze it together, you can really see that there is a positive leg and a negative leg. And the great thing about our LED lights is we can actually test them, make just like a torch right away with just our batteries. So if I were to sandwich, so let's see, I have my positive side towards you, my positive leg, and I'm going to put my positive side of my battery towards you. And if I just slide, basically, if I just slide that battery in between the legs, you should see that our light is turned on just a little bit. And so, yeah, and you know that you did it right when it lights up, but if I were to turn it around and put my negative side touching the positive leg and my positive side touching the negative leg, nothing happens. So then you know that something's wrong and you might need to switch things. So that is, you're going to need 2 of these little LED lights. You're going to need some insulated copper wire. So I have some wire pieces. I have basically 4. And they are, I have 2 colors of insulator, red and black. And that's nice because you are going to need to know like which wires are connected to your positive side of your battery and your positive leg of your LED, and which ones are connected to your negative battery side of your battery and your negative leg, hence the 2 sides. You don't want to get those mixed up. They get mixed up, your light's not going to work. So, and they don't have to be red and black. They can be 2 completely different colors, but I highly suggest getting 2 pieces or getting 4 pieces that are 2 different colors each. And you are also going to need a clothespin, and you want your wire to be almost like probably like twice the length of your clothespin. So maybe a little bit less. So just a little bit longer than your clothespin, maybe about 1.5 inches. So you're going to need that. You're going to need electrical tape. So, because we're going to be kind of wrapping some things, and we want to make sure that nothing touches. You don't want your negative, any of your negative wires to touch your positive wires. Otherwise, you're going to get a short circuit and your light's not going to work. And so your electrical wire is basically an insulator to make sure your electricity goes where it needs to. So the positive leg is your longer leg. Your positive leg is your longer leg, and then your negative leg is your shorter leg. And then, like I said, we need a clothespin, and then some, I haven't gotten them out of my box yet. You need some pipe cleaners, right? Because you need to decorate and make some really cool, colorful little buggies. So let's learn how to get this started. So like I said, I'm going to be kind of repeating myself, but I feel like repetition is always great. So yeah, so we are going to need to know that you can see that your positive leg is your long leg is your positive leg, and your short leg is your negative leg. Sometimes people call them pins as well. I like to call them legs because I think they look like the little legs of like a robot or something. And so, we'll want to kind of spread them out a little bit. You're going to want to spread out your legs a little bit because we are going to be attaching our wires. And so like we talked about before, all of your bodies have a positive and a negative side, and it'll look similarly to this, like right down here, this battery in my bottom right-hand corner. And so what we're going to do is we are going to start with our positive leg. So what we're going to do is we are going to take one of your colors. I'm going to use red because a lot of times, kind of in, electrical things, red means positive and black means negative. So I'm going to take one of my red wires, and you can see how the red wire, that's just the insulation, but you can see how I've stripped about maybe 1/4 to 1/2 inch off both ends of my wire, and this is going to expose the copper, which is conductive. Something that's conductive allows electricity to flow through it. So a lot of times metals are conductive. All sorts of different things are conductive. Like salt water is conductive. Gummy bears are conductive. Bananas, lemons, potatoes. There are all sorts of things that are conductive. But metal is one of them as well. So we have this copper, and we are just going to basically, that is why we're going to need to kind of spread the legs of one of your LED lights, and we're just going to wrap around. And so I'm going to just do that really quickly, and you'll see that in my picture down there, you can see kind of how it's wrapped. And I kind of do it where I keep the leg of the LED light pretty straight, and then I wrap the copper around it. So you can kind of see I've just wrapped the copper leg around the leg of the LED, just like that. And you want to make sure that it's like pretty tight, that you can see that it's not like, if I turn it upside down, it's not moving or anything, because you want to make sure there's a really good connection. If this is probably, as you're wrapping the wires around the legs of your LEDs, this is going to be the time that it's going to be potentially the most likely reason why you might get some flickering, or just because these, like it just moves, you just want to make sure there's a really good, nice connection. And then you're going to take a piece of your, I just took a little tiny piece of electrical tape, and you're just going to wrap it around. And this is going to be helpful because you can kind of see, if you kind of look here, you can kind of see I have a little bit of my copper wire. I'll just, there we go, get out of the background. My copper wire kind of sticking out towards my other leg. And if those were to touch, then it's my light's not going to light up. It's going to make a short circuit, which means that the electricity from the battery is taking the path of least resistance. So basically, like in our video, it goes from negative to positive, right? So if our leg is touching over here, it's not going to go through the light. It's just that electricity is going to go from right from this leg to the other leg and down. So we want to make sure it's insulated by a little piece of tape. So I'm just going to wrap that around. So things, so it is nice and insulated, and there's no chance of it touching my negative side of my leg. So you can see how I just kind of wrapped it up real nice and good. You can kind of see that in my picture as well. And then you're going to do the same with, on the other side, with your negative wire. So you're just going to twist it right around that leg of your LED. Oop. A little bit of fingers. I'm dropping my things. So you are just going to wrap that around. Again, just so that it is nice and tight and nothing falls. You can kind of see that it's not wiggling or anything. There's no wiggliness. So you know that there's a really going to be, they're touching, they're really, there's a really good connection. And then you're just going to take another piece of tape and wrap it around. Again, making sure that everything is nice and insulated. So it's going to look very similar to this, and like our picture, and you're actually going to do that twice. And this is a really great time to test. So I have my ready, so I can actually test it. So you can kind of see on the other side, I have my 2 exposed pieces of copper. And I can actually test with my battery right now to make sure my LED light works. So again, I'm kind of just gonna make like a little, it's almost like a sandwich. So this is gonna be your filling, and then your red wire is gonna be on the positive side, and my black wire is gonna be on the negative. And it's just kind of like I'm touching each side, and you can see that my light is lighting up. So you can see that it's lighting up nice and bright. So that means I have a really good connection up here. It's not flickering, really, we're good to go. And so you are actually gonna do that twice. You're gonna do that twice. And so you'll have 2 of those because you need 2 eyes for your, or really as many as you want, but for ours, because there's 2 legs, kind of 2 sides of our clothespin, we're gonna have 2 eyes for our lights or for our bugs. And then we're going to attach it to our clothespin. And so I kind of have this picture in the middle just to kind of give a better idea. It's kind of hard with that picture on the left to see the orientation, but basically, if you're looking at your clothespin, we are going to be connecting it to the side that you pinch. So, you know, you pinch one side of your clothespin to open it. So we're going to be connecting the lights to the side that you pinch, so this end. And we are actually going to be kind of orienting this. So it almost like, I kind of think of it as this is the wide side and these are the thin sides. So this is thinner than this side, obviously. So these are actually, they're just going to go on either side of the thin side. So it's going to be one, like basically on either, or I guess either side of the wide side. So kind of just like this. So you can see, and you want to orient it so that you have one side has the red and one side has the black wire or whatever colors you're using. And it's going to look very, so you're going to put both sides and basically you're just going to tape it around. So I'm going to do that right now really quickly. Where's my tape? There we go. I did not have this prepped, this piece right here. I should have had it prepped. So you're just going to take another piece of electrical tape and kind of like, you can kind of see it in our picture on this side, it's just wrapped around, and it's not wrapped around the whole thing. You're not taping around the whole thing. You're just taping around the one side. So for example, and it doesn't matter which side. So I'm just going to kind of open it, and it doesn't have to be perfect, obviously. And I'm just going to untangle my wires because they're a little bit tangly. And hold them. You're just going to kind of tape it so it's just like that. So you can see how I have it taped around one end with the black wire on one side and the red wire on the other. And so that is how it's, and then you'll do that to the other side as well. So then when you're all finished, it's going to look something like a little bit like this. So you have your two eyes tied up, and you have your black wires on one side and your red wires on the other side. And this is important because, again, you want to keep them separated. You don't want to mix and match. And then what you're going to do is you're actually going to take the ends of the two red wires and the ends of your two black wires and just twist them together. So you can kind of see how I just twisted these ends together so that they're nice and very similar to how we twisted for the LED light. You just want to make sure they're nice and twisted because you want them connected, right? Because we're basically, this is the exposed wire that we're going to be putting our batteries on, like having our battery touch. And so you want to make sure the two wires are touching really well and well connected so that the electricity goes through both of them, which then lights up both of our little LED light eyes. So you're going to twist those so they're nice and twisted. And then you're going to twist them around your legs. I call them both sides of your clothespin. And you kind of want to make it so that they, like I did it so where if you pinch, you're pinching your side and then it opens up the end of your clothespin. And then if you just kind of have it open up and you just wrap it around, and you kind of want to make it so that the ends are going to line up with that. You should have like a little bit of a flat end on the opening of your clothespin. You want to kind of make it so that your wires kind of end up on that flat end. So you're going to do that basically to both sides. You can kind of see in my picture as well. And this might get a little bit, you might have to finagle a little bit and kind of move your wires and make sure that they're positioned in a way that they're like, if you close them, they would touch, right? And that we want that because that is exactly where our battery is going to go. And so that is where our battery goes. And because now we know that on our red side is our positive light, or is our positive side of our circuit, and our black wires is our negative side of our circuit, and they're connected to the corresponding legs of our LED lights, then that means if I put my battery, if I open it up and then close it, in theory, there we go. Well, our lights should light up. And I'm happy this happened. So you might be able to tell that I have one light lit up and the other one not. And I'm glad this happened because sometimes you might have issues like this. And that's just what happens sometimes when you use these simple circuits and we're not, we're not soldering anything together or really like welding them or connecting our pieces together. We're just doing a really simple circuit with, twisting and tape. And so it might get a little bit, you might have to finagle. So you might have to problem solve. And it's a little bit like, backtracking and seeing like, where did I go wrong? And figuring out potentially why your light is not working. So for me, I can kind of tell that my negative wires aren't touching the negative side of my battery really well. So I'm going to move it. I think I can get that other light to light up a little bit better. If I'm going to take out my battery and I'm just going to move, I'm going to kind of adjust my black wire and see if that helps. And it really did not. So that can mean a couple of things. That might mean I might not have very good connections to my LED, to my wire. And you might have to undo things. You really might have the potential of having to undo the tape and reconnecting things. And that's okay, because it's a learning experience. Now like, okay, I need to make things, I might need to do this a little bit better to get it to work. And it's your first time doing this, so it might not work on the first try, and that's okay. Sometimes when things don't work, that's when we learn the most. And so I bet if I were to unwrap this, this side, my black side of my, or I guess, I don't know, it could be either. I could have if I unwrap this and then unwrap my negative leg of the tape around the negative leg of my battery, I bet I could redo it and it would work better. So that is potentially why it's not working. However, it should end up kind of looking like this with both eyes. So I'm going to kind of unwrap the end of this so you can kind of see a little bit how I should have both of my wires touching either side of my battery. And it's nice because it's a paper clip, or not a paper clip, it's a clothespin. So it just clips onto that battery. You don't have to worry about taping it or anything. And it works. And the cool thing about it is that if you're like, I need to turn this off, you can just pinch the light side and take it out. And you can put it back in and take it out when you need to. So, and then the fun part happens is where you get to decorate your little circuit bug. And this is where you can get crazy. I used these all different colored pipe cleaners, but you can use anything really if you want to use paper or paint or whatever you have around the house. That's the cool thing about these, is that you can use like whatever you have to decorate them, and they turn out really fun and cool. And sometimes, like I said, they get a little finicky, but you just got to do a little bit of adjusting. So that is my my little how-to for junior makers. If you're interested in the materials list, if you go to our YouTube channel, our Do Space YouTube channel, there is actually a video already of, it doesn't have me, but there is a video posted of last week's junior makers that has all the links that you can buy, where you can buy different items for these. So probably the things that you would obviously have maybe not have around the house, or some wire, some LED lights, and maybe the battery. But they're pretty easy to find. And the great thing about it is, like, once you kind of have those 3 components, you can make simple circuits to do all sorts of things. So what do you think you can create by you making just a simple circuit? What other kind of circuits can you make, do you think? What else can you light up? And how else could you potentially make a circuit? Will it work out? Always have a parent with you when you're trying this, because electricity can get dangerous. So make sure you have a grown-up with you when you're trying that out. But If you figure it out, it's a lot of fun. Perfect. Well, I'm so glad you guys joined me today. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the chat. I didn't see any as we were going through this, but I hope you learned a lot. Like I said, I'm going to be doing this again next week, and then we'll be doing a different project for the month of June, and we are going to be making hydraulic monsters. And so we're going to be using syringes to make a monster's mouth open and close for junior makers for the month of June. So hopefully you can join us then. And again, check out our YouTube page for all of our different kid-friendly and adult-friendly programs and videos that we have, and check us out at dospace.org as well. I hope you guys have a good night, and we will see you again soon. Goodbye. Oh, how do we find out for the materials we need for June? I will be having a blog post posted on our website. If not this week, then next week. Definitely early next week, if not by Friday or Saturday. So keep a lookout for a blog post for June's junior maker material list. Anything else? Perfect. If you have any other questions for us, let us know at hello@dospace.org, and you'll be able to find that blog post on any of our social media sites, on Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, I think. I'm not on Twitter, but on Instagram and Facebook for sure, and then also at our website at dospace.org. And so, yeah. And again, if you have any other questions about this, please send them to hello@dospace.org. And so that is our email. And then dospace.org is our website. Perfect. Okay, well, have a good night, everybody, and we will see you soon. Bye.